Things You Didn't Know About Porn by Body Wisdom.
Chapter 1. Old Brain and New Brain. Suppose you're really hungry, but it's almost time to leave for your match. What are you going to do? Answer. You're going to listen to either the old part of your brain or the new part. The old part of your brain is saying, "You're hungry, go on, grab a piece of that cake." But the new part of your brain is saying, "Yes, you're hungry, but it would be smarter to eat it after the match so you don't throw up." The old part of your brain is the part you share with animals. It evolved over 100 million years ago as mammals appeared. It urges you to do things without thinking, like eat and find anything to do with sex very interesting. The new part of the brain evolved much more recently. It helps you to solve problems, play music, and invent things. It thinks and helps you choose your best strategy. The old part gives you urges and feelings like excitement, sadness, and anger. The new brain helps you work out what to do with those feelings. What if someone much bigger calls you a loser? You may have an urge to punch him, but your new brain might say, "That's a very bad idea." We need both parts of the brain, because the old brain isn't very smart sometimes. For example, it doesn't know the difference between a picture of food and real food. Imagine you were hungry and had nothing to eat. Would you want to thumb through a food magazine with photos of yummy-looking puddings? No. Your stomach would rumble, you would drool, and you would feel hungrier than ever. Your old brain is powerful enough to make your body react as if those pictures were real food, and even though your new brain knows you can't eat pictures. In fact, your new brain would probably say, "Oi, put down the magazine and go and find something real to eat." Why does your old brain react so powerfully to pictures of food? Because for millions of years your ancestors lived where food was scarce. They had no refrigerators and food spoiled very quickly. There were no supermarkets, corner shops or restaurants. So if you wanted to eat, you had to be on the lookout for food. The old brain in your head is designed for the conditions your ancestors faced. In those days, there were no pictures or videos of anything. If you saw something, it was the real deal. The result is that your old brain reacts powerfully to any visual image that it associates with the presence of food. So, if you were a hunter like your ancestors, your old brain would react to animal droppings, hoof prints, or any shape that looked like it might be your next meal. This is why an advert with pictures of chips or chocolate fudge cake, or the sound of an ice cream van, can cause a powerful physical reaction in you. When your old brain decides you are hungry, it urges you to stop playing and become more alert and focused on your desire to eat. It wants you to give your full attention to getting some food so you don't starve. Your old brain can be very determined to push you towards its priorities, because the urges coming from it are so strong, it can overpower your new brain if you let it. Chapter 2. From Hunting Food to Naked Women. As you leave childhood, your old brain expands its focus to a new task. It urges you to get excited about girls. It hopes that someday you will pass on copies of yourself in the form of babies. As odd as it may seem, this is the number one job for the old brain. In earlier times, this reaction was critical to the survival of the human race. Your old brain prepares you for this future task by making you hungry for anything that is related to sex. In fact, as your teenage hormones surge, your old brain decides that sex is way more interesting than eating. That's why sexual feelings can be even more intense than hunger. When you stumble upon something connected with making babies, like a website with naked women on it, or some other picture associated with sex, your old brain takes over. It releases chemicals into your brain and body that make you feel like true happiness is just around the corner. Chapter 3. Things you may not have known about porn. Porn, short for pornography, is sexually exciting material. Books, magazines, pictures, videos. It has been around for thousands of years, but the invention of the internet has brought videos and endless variety. Moving pictures are far more stimulating than still photos in magazines. It's as if you're right there, participating, like being caught up in a video game. The endless variety means you can rapidly jump from site to site. The primitive brain craves new things, what scientists call novelty. It's on the lookout for whatever is new and different, the newest film, song, video clip or video game. Do you want to watch the same old video all the time? Not usually. With internet porn, the primitive brain shifts into search mode, and it can always find something new. As with your favourite video game, surfing for videos can suck you in completely. You're on an exciting hunt and something new is just around the corner. In the past, porn was not in your face as it is today. Here's what happened. Only a few generations ago, children in the West were typically taught that pornography and masturbation were sinful. Religious authorities often convinced them they could end up in hell if they used porn or lost their seed, in other words, had an orgasm, without making a baby. Most parents never discuss these subjects with their children. Sex seems scary because of the threats and secrecy. Then, in the last century, some famous psychiatrists decided that it was unhealthy to associate sex with threats of hell. This gradually caused a big change. Many people realized that we would all be happier if sex were openly discussed. So far, so good. However, people also concluded that we would all be even more happy if we could free sexual urges from any self-discipline. Instead of steering for a middle ground of balanced sex lives, some people went berserk, on the rampage, thanks to their old brain's programming. They thought they had found a cure for sexual frustration, but it hasn't turned out that way. The reason is that people didn't know much about how the old brain works. The necessary research hadn't yet been done. Meanwhile, by trying to fix one problem, people created others. It was an honest mistake. They were trying to free sex from guilt and from old rules that had not worked very well. They assumed that sexual stimulation of all kinds, including porn, was purely about pleasure. They didn't realize that it was possible to overstimulate the old brain and cause new problems, such as selfishness and less ability to enjoy life's other pleasures. Today, two things have changed. First of all, computers have made porn and porn sex, that is, using porn to arouse yourself to orgasm, a huge part of many lives. Secondly, we know more about the old brain. So it's time to rethink the risks associated with using porn.